Chair in Davis.
Nebraska will win the national championship. The Cornhuskers beat Miami. It is history, 13-0, and bring that trophy back to Lincoln.
Former Arena Football League quarterback, former head coach of the Capital City Crush, and guru of Husker football history, Chris Raff.
25 straight wins for the Cornhuskers. One of the most dominating stretches in college football history.
We may have seen one of the best teams in the history of college football tonight.
Brought to you by Sandhills Global on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, everybody, we're back again. It's Friday. It's The Drive with AD and Raff. Big weekend of football ahead. The game last night was, I don't know, it's hard to explain that game last night. There's just a lot of stuff was going on.
Well, it was tough. I mean, obviously the whole Tua situation kind of takes the cake for the most talked about story in the sports world right now. Because you had the Twitter doctors or whatever, the guy that was, headlining the concussion foundation or something like that, coming out and telling us like 5 hours before the game that if Tua gets hurt tonight, then he could actually like suffer serious, symptom or side effects and things like that. And then unfortunately Tua gets hurt, somewhat early on in the game. And if you're a Dolphins fan, you're sitting there like, crap, now it's Teddy Bridgewater time. And which give credit to Teddy Bridgewater. He didn't look too bad throughout the majority of the game, but then I don't know what he was doing on that pass when they were down. Was it 20-15 they were down, or 21-15 they were down? I have no clue what he was thinking when, Mike Gesicki was open maybe for a split second, but Gesicki was not looking for the ball. And even if Gesicki was, that ball was thrown so far behind Mike Gesicki that there was no way that the tight end from Penn State was going to be able to catch that ball.
No. I going back to the doctor that came out before the game. DP would probably know this, but he used to be a WWE wrestler back in the day.
I saw that.
So,
but
go on.
I find that whole situation interesting because, like, if there's a way that if something's actually serious is going on, and the NFL is investigating, right? They're investigating the whole entire situation within the staff, and you have to remember though, the NFL teams hire a third-party doctor or medical staff to treat concussions, right? Yep. And they do it to avoid problems like this. They do that to avoid is he good enough to go? Yeah, let's go ahead and make that call, and he's good enough to go. So that's where the Dolphins could be in the clear, I suppose, is if they're able to, kind of piggyback on the backs of, hey, well, we used our third-party team like we're supposed to, and they told us that he was good to go, so we just played him. But I thought AD said something interesting last night, is sometimes you have to protect the players from themselves.
Yep.
And I just find this, I don't know what to think about this whole entire thing, because there's a way, Raff, and I'm not trying to be, out of line or be over-exaggerated or anything like that. But if Tua is seriously hurt, and let's say he has to be out for the rest of the year here, they're going to look, if the Miami Dolphins violated some rules, shouldn't have played Tua, and it comes out that they shouldn't have right after the investigation, this whole thing, the whole organization could spiral out of control. And that starts with firing the head coach, right? And that would be, if you talk to Dolphins fans, they love Mike McDaniel.
Yeah.
And if you talk to Dolphins fans, that's going to be detrimental to what they're building down in Miami.
Yeah, and like the thing I look at too is with Tua, or actually Andrew Whitworth said it on the post-game show last night, that he said that he had a concussion. He got knocked woozy. He went to the sideline. They gave him the cognitive tests, and he passed them because, like he said, his competitiveness to want to get back into the game and wanting to play the game, he passed the test, but he went back into the game and his teammates were like, nah, you're not right. Even though you passed those tests, you're not right. So I go back last week with Tua. Yeah, he might have passed those cognitive tests to say, but what I'm going back to is when he's walking off the field, they can say, well, he had a sore back. Well, I got news for you. When you have a sore back, the way he went down, that was more of a, like, usually you're stricken with pain, you get a sore back, or, and Tua, he came off the field, you could see he was woozy, just the way he went down. So that was the first thing I saw. I was like, oh yeah, he's got a concussion. And then you throw him out there last night. And the scary part for me last night was it was his fingers. Right when they showed his fingers, I was like,
holy smokes.
I was like, this is serious. I'm like, this isn't a good sign. And I mean, they can say, it wasn't a concussion last week, but go back and watch the tape. The tape does not lie. If that's back pain, usually if my back's sore, I'm like, oh, and I'm cranking up, trying to straighten it out. He was woozy. So
yeah, what's interesting about that is here's the thing, like Tua. So somebody said on the text line, Tua is an average quarterback. Teddy Bridgewater to the rescue, Super Bowl 2023. I am actually in on Tua. Are you in or out on Tua?
I'm in on. He's super accurate, and he's got those receivers. I mean, Tyreek Hill last night, a little less than 200 yards, but you're right on the money there. So,
like, I think there was. I think I'm in on Tua, and I think it shows the importance of having a coach that actually wants you to play. Brian Flores didn't want Tua out there. He didn't want Tua Tagovailoa out there as quarterback, right? And it kind of showed over the course of time. Also, they got a major upgrade at wide receiver. Tyreek Hill does not compare to Devontae Parker, or I should say the other way around. Devontae Parker does not compare to Tyreek Hill. And they boosted their backfield with Raheem Mostert, who led the rushing with 60, 70 yards last night, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
But, like, here's the thing. We're seeing that kind of approach on offense where figure out a way to get the ball to either Jalen Waddle or Tyreek Hill. And if those guys aren't open, hey, guess what? You have a very underrated tight end in Mike Gesicki that's at the tight end position that you don't use necessarily enough, but he's capable of making some plays in the NFL, right? And Raheem Mostert, he's quick, but he also ran hard last night. Like they love to do those little inside toss plays where the running back can get a full head of steam. But also another thing is just the change in Miami, the way that they kind of run an offense and play the football game over the last couple of years. If it's 2nd and 14, 2nd and 17, they're being super conservative in the years past and just running it up the middle with Myles Gaskin, of all people. But now, 2nd down, you're taking a shot. 3rd down, you're taking a shot. Yeah. And I was watching the game with a buddy who's a Dolphins fan, and he was saying something along the lines of, like, the big criticism of Tua is that he throws interceptions. But they're like, we're okay with you throwing interceptions because this is an offense that we haven't seen as Dolphins fans in so long. We like taking shots. We like the fact that Mike McDaniel is okay with chucking the ball down the field multiple times a game. Although you might throw a pick, you're still trying to get a high percentage play going. So, like, I think I'm in on Tua. I think I'm sold that Tua is a quarterback that's able to win at the NFL level.
Yeah, and before he got injured last night, I was kind of just watching it. That's probably the first game where I've had a chance to really watch him this year. But it kind of harkened me back to the old Alabama days when he's got those receivers out there and he's sort of distributing the ball all around. So I hope he can get healthy. That's the big thing right now is, I hope he's not battling any like lingering effects from last night. They said he, flew home with the team, so that's a good sign. Exactly. But man, that was just scary last night. And the hit wasn't like a vicious hit, but the way his head whipped back and hit the back of the ground. So it's just, in some players, it happens that, when they have that contact, concussions arise, and hope it's not something that continues on or so.
Well, what's wild about the whole entire situation is, like, last night's hit, he actually didn't get hit that hard. Like, he did not. It's not like his head banged against the ground or anything. At first, the way his hands were positioned and things like that, his fingers were just tense and locked.
Yeah,
it was one of those things where it was like, man, did he just break a finger? Like the way his thumb was, you thought he broke the thumb. I thought he had a broken thumb. Like we were talking at the bar. And we were just like, his thumb's bent back. Like his thumb is facing the wrong direction. What did he hit his thumb on? Did he land on it and it just snapped? Like what happened? And then they come back from a commercial and they have the stretcher out, or they have like the stretcher, I suppose, out. And it was like, okay, this is a much bigger deal than we realized. And then the whole like second impact syndromes conversation came up about how if you're not healthy and then you take a little bit of a hit, it's going to hurt you more. And then you have the Twitter doctor, who's the former WWE guy, saying that, listen, you can die from this kind of stuff, from second impact syndrome and things like that. It's intense. Like this is a very serious situation right now for the Dolphins, because like I said a couple moments ago, like their whole organization, or a lot of big names in their organization, could not be there in the near future, because depending on what they find throughout this NFL investigation.
Yeah, and it's the players associations, the main ones that are kind of heading it up, because they're, did you put our player in the wrong? But exactly. Like at the end of the day, the player has got to. It sucks because of the competitive nature of these players, and they want to be out there, and that's their livelihood. But like Andrew Whitworth said last night, it was like, I should have, looking back on it now, I should have said, hey, there's something wrong with me. But I got to the sidelines. They submitted the tests to me. I passed them because I wanted to get back out there, but I was not right. And I just go back to last weekend. You watch that video, you could just looking at him, just the way his reaction was. The first thing you say is like, "Oh yeah, he's been concussed. He's a little woozy, But
he fell down. He fell down. He got up. He was holding his head. It took a couple of wobbly steps and then fell.
Yeah.
And if that's a back injury, that's fine. Whatever. Just then the very next week he doesn't hit the ground too hard and he can't move for the moment. It was like his whole entire body went into shock.
Yeah.
Like his whole entire body went into shock, and it's tense, and that was it. Like it was a scary, scary sight. And also bad look on Amazon Prime for continuing to show it.
Yeah, that surprises me. Usually they show it the first time and they're like, yeah, we're not going to show this anymore, because that was just, I don't know, it was just scary.
So obvious. It was obvious. Like he just tensed up and he couldn't move.
Yeah. And like usually like past, tragic injuries, or not but bad injuries that have happened in the NFL, you see them and you're like, oh yeah, he's injured bad. But just that reaction with his hands, it was just like, it was just different last night, where it's like, oh, this is not good. He's got those hands up there like that. But going on to a more positive now, do the Bengals have the best two wide receiver tandem in the NFL?
No.
All right.
Is it bad that I want to give it to Waddle and Tyreek?
You could. I mean, they're good also, but that T. Higgins and Jamar Chase last night, I mean, they.
But outside of the one pass that Jamar caught late in the game, he didn't really do anything. He kind of got shut down.
To a point, he had cut an out that was pretty key. It seems like in key moments that Joey Cool's got his safety blanket. He knows he can go to him, And then he also had, I think he had a deep one too, or maybe that was Tyreek where they called pass interference. I got them mixed up. But yeah, watching those four receivers last night, I mean, that is some young talent right there, man. They definitely can play.
Waterboy makes an interesting entry. AJ Brown and Devontae Smith.
Ooh, yeah, there you go.
That's a good one. AJ Brown, I think so. I've said it multiple times, and every time we bring up AJ Brown, I have to say it. The Titans were so stupid to ever let AJ Brown go, because he was such a key cog in their offense. Success, and now granted, Derrick Henry's doing just fine on his own, but man, you really open up that whole entire offense and spread things out when you have a guy like AJ Brown on the perimeter. But okay, so you have Devontae Smith and AJ Brown. Somebody else says the Vikings, so I'm guessing that would be Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen. I don't know what kind of season Adam Thielen's having.
The Vikings
I don't hear much about him anymore.
The Vikings have a really good 3, actually. I like KJ Osborne. He's
okay. Yes.
It seems like he makes those key catches. You might not hear from him for a couple of weeks, and all of a sudden, boom, he makes a key touchdown catch, key first down. Former Buffalo Bowl, by the way, just throwing it
You'll
out
remember, you'll remember the Eagles-Vikings Monday Night Football game. Darius Slay, the defensive back for the Philadelphia Eagles, absolutely shut down Justin Jefferson.
Yeah.
And that was a heck of a game from Darius Slay. But okay, so AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, Justin Jefferson, and the trio of KJ Osborne and Adam Thielen. Then you have Jalen and Tyreek, Jamar and T. Higgins. I mean, I'm trying to think of other ones.
Well, you haven't got one of the great ones yet. I'm a little upset with you right now.
Jerry Jeudy and Cortland Sutton
are
on the cusp. They just need to not have a washed quarterback throwing them the football.
Oh, Jamin and Christmas.
Or maybe I shouldn't say washed, just overpaid quarterback throwing them the football.
They just got to get some blocking. If he's running around like crazy, it's a little tough. We see that with our own Huskers a lot. We got to get him a pocket, let him sit back there, get that play action working. But I think Denver, though, one of the things that they need to get after is their running game, because Javonte Williams and Melvin Gordon, I think they're both averaging close to 5 yards a carry this year, but they're not running. I don't think they're running them quite enough yet. And then once they take that alleviate that pressure off the passing game, then I think when you're going to start having your big plays down the field to Jeudy and Cortland.
So staying in the AFC West, actually, obviously last year you could have said Tyreek and Travis Kelce, but you can't say it this year.
Yeah.
Would you say see, it's tough because they're 0-3, but Devontae Adams and Hunter Renfrow?
You could.
Hunter Renfrow is one of the more underrated players in all the league, and how reliable he is. However, you're 0-3. That's the problem. Yeah. And Devontae Adams in Vegas is not working out so well right now.
And the Chargers might actually have the best set in the AFC West with
that's what Jeremy just said. That's what Jeremy just said. Here's another one that I just thought of. What about in Tampa? When healthy, Mike and not suspended, Mike Evans and Chris Godwin.
Yeah, they're right up there. I would definitely put them there. Who is maybe the Cowboys fans can help me. Who is the second? Is it CeeDee Lamb and Michael Gallup now, or who's the number 2?
It's Noah Brown.
Noah Brown.
It's the 7, because I think Gallup's hurt. So okay. It's Noah Brown, who is the 7th round pick out of Ohio State. I want to say 2 years ago. He was a 7th round pick out of Ohio State, and he's having a great year. As kind of a counter to CeeDee Lamb. Also, obviously Dak Prescott's out for a while, but yeah, okay, excuse me, not just 2 years ago. He's been in the league since 2017. But Noah Brown has this season 15 catches for 213 yards and a touchdown.
And then you got the Saints. Olave's been playing good, and you got Olave, and Thomas is getting healthy. And then they have the third. There's a third guy too, and I can't remember who the third guy is. Thomas, Olave, and oh man,
here I'm looking it up.
I'm drawing a blank, but they might have the top 3 maybe right now.
Is it Jarvis?
Yeah, Jarvis Landry. Yeah,
Jarvis Landry.
He came from the Browns.
That's right. Here's a big one for you. That when Russell Wilson was in Seattle, extremely underutilized, and I still. That's one of the biggest questions I'll ponder. Obviously, DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett are the 2 receivers I'm talking about. But like Seattle should have been so much better with the defense that they had, with the quarterback that they had, DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett, who DK is just a freak athlete in his own right. But then you have a competent running back in Chris Carson at the time. Yeah. He was able to get you yards. I look back on those couple years for Seattle and don't understand why they didn't have more success.
Probably the quarterback.
It probably is. It probably is. Russell Wilson.
It cannot be the quarterback. We paid $300 million.
Steals money from organizations and then just says, let's ride. And now everybody's doing it across the country.
Do you want to know why it didn't work?
Why didn't DK and Tyler Lockett work?
It's not that DK and Tyler Lockett didn't work. It's that Pete Carroll has this affinity with running the ball.
Well, That's too bad.
Despite having a quarterback in his prime and, as you said, extremely athletic receivers. And I believe they had Jimmy Graham for a while.
Yeah, they did.
Jimmy Graham, but now they have Noah Fant.
Yeah. So, yeah, despite having all of that talent for airing the ball out, they were a run-first, play-defense team.
Tyler Lockett.
Very unfortunate.
DK Metcalf has
Have fun, gentlemen.
Thanks, Rico.
Thanks,
Thank
bro.
you for rolling in. DK Metcalf this year, 16 catches, 135 yards, and a touchdown.
Yeah.
So nothing too crazy.
Yeah, and last week he had a great matchup too. I forgot who they played, but I remember that they're
Atlanta.
Yeah, had a great matchup and still didn't really put up much for numbers.
Yeah, so last week was his best game. He had 5 catches on 12 targets for 64 yards and a score. The week before, 4 catches for 35 yards, and the week before against Denver, 7 catches for 36 yards. Yeah, and when you look at the long, like the farthest pass reception that they had against Denver, he totaled 36 yards receiving, but his longest catch was 15 yards. So basically, after that 15-yard play, you had 6 catches for 21 yards, and you are DK Metcalf.
Yeah,
I mean, holy smokes, man.
And then you got to look at too, like eventually, do they go to Drew Lock just because he does have a stronger arm that he can get the ball down the field for more explosive plays? Probably not, because it's Pete Carroll and he doesn't really like the explosive plays. So
I was going to say, so it's Rashad Penny is their starting running back, right?
Yep.
So Rashad Penny. Oh, they also have DJ Dallas. I see.
I think they got Kenneth Walker. Yeah. So
Kenneth Walker only has 7 carries this year. Rashad Penny has 32 for 141 yards, no touchdowns though. Has had 2 games where he's crossed 60 yards, but other than that, against San Francisco, 6 carries for 15 yards. Gee whiz.
How did Denver lose to them?
How did Denver lose to him, number one? Number two, why do they not have success with guys like DK Metcalf, Noah Fant, and Tyler Lockett?
I don't get it.
I truly don't understand it. I just that's interesting and frustrating if you're a Seattle fan. I don't know, like how long do we think Pete Carroll has?
Man, I'd say maybe two or 3 more years, maybe. He's 70. He's the oldest coach in the NFL. He's 71, I believe.
Jeez, that's wild.
So 3 years, 4 years, maybe. He wants to go surfing. But all right, we'll throw it to break now. This is The Drive with AD and Raff and Nick in the house.
Sandhills Global is hiring. Check out sandhills.jobs for more information. Sandhills is looking to fill hundreds of new openings in sales, traveling support, software development, web design, and more. Sandhills has a professional culture and is fast-paced with a focus on growth, innovation, and leading-edge technologies. Career and internship opportunities are available at our global headquarters in Lincoln, Nebraska. Apply today at sandhills.jobs.
James Enterprise Incorporated, that company that hauls your gravel, rocks, and material for your farm or construction site, says thank you to the people of the healthcare community for putting yourself in the way of danger to save the public. That is what it means to be a hero and to build a beautiful legacy. This message brought to you by James Enterprise Incorporated. For all your hauling of rock, gravel, and materials, call them at 402-432-6740. That's 402-432-6740.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. At 4 a.m, my phone rang. They said, "I regret to inform you that your husband was wounded in action." Victor sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. I was doing school full-time, and I was also then caring for Victor. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself. I just didn't want to forget that I also had goals and that I also had a life. What I did is I challenged Victor to meet me halfway. There are almost 6 million military and veteran caregivers across the nation. We have our own journey, and we can fulfill that journey at the same time that we are helping our loved one.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hey, buying a used vehicle sucks, and the biggest problem is who can you trust? Hey, this is Carl from Price Right Auto out here at West O Street in Lincoln. Here's what customers have told us they want from us. They want transparent pricing with no games. We have all of our pricing on our website, plus a Carfax report. We don't want to buy a lemon. We include a 3-month warranty on all of our vehicles. We don't want to play games. Just make it simple. We saw that with non-commissioned salespeople. Can you trust us? Just check out our Google reviews. Again, this is Carl from Price Right Auto on West O. Check us out at pricerightauto.com.
Get an immediate look back at the game from the people who know it best. It's the Tanner's post-game show and the final word live from Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill. Hear from former players and national champions like Jay Foreman, Rashawn Jackson, and Aaron Davis and see what they saw in that day's game. It's the Tanner's post-game show and the final word. Live and in person, home or away at Tanner's Bar and Grill, brought to you by Bauer Infrastructure. Only here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Wow. Did you ever save me money on my car?
Yes, that's why our customers keep coming back.
How do you do it, friendly car dealer ?
We simply have low overhead and high trade-in values. The next line's yours.
Oh.
Ready for something better? Mullen Motors is a no-hassle, no-pressure dealership with financing available. Check out the inventory at MikeMullenMotors.com.
No taglines, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
The weather in Nebraska is unpredictable every day, and that's no fun when you're trying to golf. Double Eagle Golf in West Lincoln is now open to let you play in perfect indoor conditions daily. Double Eagle Golf has 5 simulator bays to hit in, by far the most in Lincoln. It has a fully stocked bar with beers and cocktails for you to enjoy while you play. Double Eagle Golf is open each weekday from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m., so you can start the day there, take a client over lunch, or end the night with friends. Check out Double Eagle Golf today inside the Kinetic Sports Complex on West O Street.
This message is for Shauna, my mom, who just finished her high school diploma. I wanted to say I'm so proud of you for finishing school. You told me it's never too late to achieve your dreams. I hope to make you as proud as you have made me.
When you graduate, they graduate. Finish your high school diploma for you and for them. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
How's Wingstop sound? Crispy, juicy, classic wings. Made to order, cooked to perfection. And sauced and tossed in those 11 soul-satisfying flavors. Paired with hand-cut seasoned fries, house-made honey mustard, blue cheese, or signature Wingstop ranch. And of course, spicy Cajun fried corn. I think you've heard enough. Get your flavor delivered at wingstop.com.
People first is more than a nice sentiment. At American Senior Benefits, it's the mission. If you're ready for a career where you can truly put your customers' needs ahead of everything else, this is for you. American Senior Benefits is one of the leading senior market insurance product distributors in the country, and they're looking for high-energy applicants with strong communication skills. Enjoy on-the-job training, a fun work environment, and unlimited income potential. Visit ASBMidwest.com to learn more. American Senior Benefits.
Guys, I just had my weigh-in over at Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping after my second 10-week session over there. Since I started with them in April, I've lost 70 pounds. No pills, no starvation diets, just the proven method at Farrell's using kickboxing, strength training, nutrition, and personalized coaching. It all starts with their 10-week challenge. The next one begins on October 1st. Reserve your spot and get half off by mentioning the ticket. You can get all the information at fxblincoln.com, and I'll see you at Farrell's for the 10-week challenge beginning October 1st. Join now for 50% off.
College football in Lincoln, America. The time has come. Start your game day off right with the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show. Join the ticket crew live from Tipsy Tina's in the Haymarket as they bring you all the coverage you need to get you ready for the action. It's the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Brought to you by A1 Automotive, Mullen Motors, Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits, Bauer Underground, Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group, and Ritchie Brothers.
Your high school football coverage rolls on right here on 93.7 The Ticket. Hey guys, it's Nick Sainer. Join me this Friday at 8 p.m. for a deep city rivalry between Lincoln Southeast and Lincoln Southwest. The Knights come in winners of 3 in a row and fresh off a big 56-35 win last Friday, while the Silverhawks continue their run towards the playoffs after dominating Omaha Bryan last week 56-0 and boasting a 4-1 record in 2022. Kickoff is scheduled for 8 p.m. and you can listen to all the action right here on your home for high school football, 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Join us on Friday from 2 to 6 on the rooftop at Barry's as we get you ready for Saturday's game on the block with Eric Strickland and Nate Brennan, followed by Old School with Jake Foreman and DP this Friday from 2 to 6 at Barry's on 9th and Q.
This is The Drive with AD and Raff on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is that ice cold Michelle fight for that white gold. This one for them hood girls, them good girls, straight masterpieces. Stylin', wildin', living it up in the city.
All right, we're back again. It's The Drive with AD and Raff, 93.7 The Ticket. Man, Nick, Rico would be so proud of me last night. Would have been so proud of me last night.
Uh-oh, how so?
All right, so I'll set the stage. I'm in Douglas, Alabama.
Okay.
And Douglas High School had their senior night last night, so we had to go to volleyball.
Yep.
So they end up getting into the third set. They took the first 2 sets, played some solid volleyball. We go to the third set. We get to match point. And I, Chris Raff, digging back deep into his Nebraska volleyball knowledge, brought the slow clap to Douglas, Alabama.
No way.
Oh, yeah.
No way.
I brought it.
How many are in the gym? How many were in the gym last night? And how many participated in the slow clap?
I'm going to say that there was probably about 200 in the gym.
Okay.
And I looked back at Dana. Chris and Dana are the couple I went to school with. So I'm down there watching their kids. And I'm like, Dana, I'm slow clapping match point. And she's like, do it, Raff, do it. I'm like, here we go. I started that slow clap. And next thing I know.
And it worked. Everybody's on it.
Oh, by the end, when she served the match point, the whole gym is slow clapping. And then it continued on until they won the point. And everybody's all like, oh my goodness. I'm like, Nebraska volleyball has found its way down to Douglas, Alabama.
Raff, they're going to continue doing that now. Since once you leave, they're still going to do it. They're going to say that guy from Lincoln, Nebraska started this.
Yeah, I started the slow clap in Douglas, Alabama.
That is awesome.
So I don't know if there'll be a statue or there'll be a plaque.
Let's hope so.
There's got to be something.
As always, you guys can get in touch with the show, 402-464-5685, the Honda Lincoln hotline, the Starter Heyman text line, as well as the Starter Heyman Jewelers video stream, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. Raff, we get this text, and I always laugh at these. There was a lot of reaction here. Thomas and Lincoln said underrated duo was DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson. Waterboy says Kittle and Debo. I would honestly take Kittle out of that, and I would say Debo and Ayuk.
Oh, yeah, I like Ayuk.
I like Ayuk a lot as well. But, I mean, that's a decent little trio there, Waterboy. But then we also had a Packers fan come in and say, Sammy Watkins and Randall Cobb, baby. Go, Pack, go.
They got that Romeo Dobbs.
They do.
I like him.
And don't they have that Christian Watson from the North Dakota State guy?
They might.
I want to say that's the guy that they drafted. Was
okay. Yeah, I think you're right.
Hold on, we're gonna double check this while we're live on the. Yeah, Christian Watson. He's been injured, but he's from North Dakota State. That's right. So, either way, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say with the Chiefs, who would you put as their number one receiver? Would you put Valdez Scantling as their number one? Juju Smith-Schuster is their number one. Cole Hardman is their number one.
It's got to be McCole, right?
See, I would think that too, but I don't know. The statistics show. I think it. Yeah, that's a tough one. He's got plenty of weapons. That's for sure. Good Lord.
As to say, like I haven't watched a single second of a Chiefs game. Scratch that. I watched the Chiefs Colts game, but not like in depth to see who was the best player.
Yeah.
So
I like watching Patrick Mahomes play. I mean,
yeah.
I'm not a Chiefs fan, but I appreciate good quarterbacking and
whoa. So Raff likes the Chiefs?
No,
he likes the Broncos and the Chiefs.
You did not hear that one bit. I said
I know, Rico. I know. Seems like a fake fan to me.
Oh,
Seems
Lord.
like a fake fan.
Oh,
but,
Lord.
Yeah, so anyway, and then we always get these texts as well. Unnamed texter says, WTF, are the Huskers playing tomorrow? I live in Oklahoma, and not even Sooner Radio talks about the NFL for 30 bleeping minutes a day. Well, listen, we'll get to Husker football in the second hour for sure.
Yeah, this is a 2-hour show. This is a 2-hour show, Oklahoma dude.
We got plenty of stuff to talk about. We got plenty of stuff to talk about. Nebraska, I guess we can kind of preface it in the second hour. What kind of angles do you want to get down, Raff? I mean, what do you want to talk about and dissect in the second hour here when we talk Husker football?
I want to talk about maybe some players that we haven't seen much of this year that we're looking forward to. Maybe they'll have a chance to maybe get out on the field and participate in the action. I want to talk maybe a little bit about Mickey Joseph and just the way he's, took the reins. What else is there?
That's interesting. I'm curious. So I posed this question not to multiple people here in the studio, to Rico yesterday and throughout the week on our show. But then I also asked Jake and Sip during the spillover, what this game, what side of the ball is it more important to have success on this Saturday? Is it the offense or is it the defense? Because the defense, I'm sure you know this, Raff, and we'll reiterate these statistics in the second hour. But this defense ranks 127th in the country in total defense, 127th out of 131 teams. They're giving up near 7 yards per play, and they are giving up 514 yards per game. Yeah. So when that happens, here's the thing: is this game more important for the defense to get stops and show a little bit of improvement? Because we do know that Bill Busch has simplified things. Or is it more important for the offense when Mickey Joseph talks about, I should have came into the Oklahoma game, slowed things down because that's the way that we are going to be competitive. And now that's what we want to do going forward. But also Mark Whipple hasn't necessarily been on the same page. So is it more important for the offense to slow things down to keep their defense off the field? I think that's a really interesting angle and way to look at this thing, because I don't know if there's a right answer. I think it's a little bit of both. You need both, right? Because you want to show that you can slow down the game and you don't want to turn over the football. And this is the year, Raff, that they have a guy like Anthony Grant, who is that 100-yard back per game. Now, this is the game that feels like you should be able to use him because Indiana's defense isn't that good either.
Yeah, I think it's definitely, I think you got to look at the offense, because if the offense can put up some sustained drives, put some points on the board, because you definitely don't want Indiana running, over 90 happens, then that's going to be trouble because the fatigue factor is going to play into it, stuff like that. But yeah, I would say the offense is key this game, because they just can't be coming out 3 and out and punting and leaving our defense on the field a lot, because it's only been 2 weeks. Like, I know everybody's like on the Bill Busch train that he's going to change everything, but it's still the same. It's still the same players and the same defense. Can he tweak some things? Can he put them in better situations? Totally believe he can do that. But they're still susceptible. They haven't completely forgot last 2 weeks or the last 3 weeks, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
They haven't forgot, but the offense can, alleviate, take the pressure off of them. And hopefully the defense can attack. That's key to me. It's like, let them set the tone, not the offense. But we'll see what happens on Saturday.
Let's dissect all that and a little bit more, obviously, deeper in the second hour. Let's take it to break.
All right, with Ultra Break, this is 93.7 The Ticket, The Drive.
College football in Lincoln, America. The time has come. Start your game day off right with the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show. Join the Ticket crew live from Tipsy Tina's in the Haymarket as they bring you all the coverage you need to get you ready for the action. It's the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show. on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Brought to you by A1 Automotive, Mullen Motors, Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits, Bauer Underground, Ben Bleicher with Professional Realty Group, and Ritchie Brothers.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Join us on Fridays from 2 to 6 on the rooftop at Barry's as we get you ready for Saturday's game on the block with Eric Strickland and Nate Brennan, followed by Old School with Jay Foreman and DP this Friday from 2 to 6 at Barry's on 9th and Q.
How was your drive to school?
Let me tell you, I had to get my iced coffee first. I just can't seem to put it down. My favorite rapper just announced a tour. My phone was buzzing like crazy. I'm so excited. I had to text all my friends right then to talk about it. Then someone started calling me and...
Let's try that again.
I turned my phone off right away. I never drive distracted.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Adoption of teens from foster care is a topic not enough people know about, and we're here to change that. I'm April Dinwiddie, host of the new podcast, Navigating Adoption, presented by Adopt US Kids. Each episode brings you compelling real-life adoption stories told by the families that live them with commentary from experts. Visit adoptuskids.org/podcast or subscribe to Navigating Adoption, presented by Adopt US Kids. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Administration for Children and Families and the Ad Council.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric is the call I make when I have a need for plumbing services. Whether it's for my home or office, if I need a repair to a water heater, softener, or even my garbage disposal, I know I can count on Action to help. In one simple call, their amazing customer service team promptly schedules a service call, often getting to my needs within a day. Action delivers honest, quality services we can count on. To learn more, visit actionlincoln.com.
Your high school football coverage rolls on right here on 93.7 The Ticket. Hey guys, it's Nick Sainer. Join me this Friday at 8 p.m. for a deep city rivalry between Lincoln Southeast and Lincoln Southwest. The Knights come in winners of 3 in a row and fresh off a big 56-35 win last Friday, while the Silverhawks continue their run towards the playoffs after dominating Omaha Bryan last week 56-0 and boasting a 4-1 record in 2022. Kickoff is scheduled for 8 p.m. and you can listen to all the action right here on your home for high school football, 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Empire Fence and Netting in Waverly is now hiring for several positions. They're looking for a fence installer for both commercial and residential, for local projects, and ones that require travel. They also have openings for operators, dirt work, welding positions, and applicants with CDLs are very desirable. If you're looking for a locally operated business that provides excellent work for customers and great benefits and care for its employees, email info@empire-fence.com or give them a call at 402-682-7658. Empire Fence and Netting.
We stand on the shoulders of women who came before us.
Women who fought for their own financial futures.
And now it's our turn.
Join us. Visit WeSaySaveIt.org and take control of your financial future by saving for retirement.
A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
It's tailgate season. Why would you bounce around from place to place for all your beverage needs when you could have it all in one place? Wine, Beer, and Spirits has everything for your parties with their 3 locations in Lincoln, Grand Island, and Omaha. It's the largest liquor store in the state, and here's the best part. You can get a drink from their bar and walk around with it as you shop for all your tailgate necessities. Locally owned and operated, it's Wine, Beer, and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln.
Get an immediate look back at the game from the people who know it best. It's the Tanner's post-game show and the final word live from Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill. Hear from former players and national champions like Jay Foreman, Rashawn Jackson, and Aaron Davis and see what they saw in that day's game. It's the Tanner's post-game show and the final word. Live and in person, home or away at Tanner's Bar and Grill, brought to you by Bauer Infrastructure. Only here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Sandhills Global is hiring. Check out sandhills.jobs for more information. Sandhills is looking to fill hundreds of new openings in sales, traveling support, software development, web design, and more. Sandhills has a professional culture and is fast-paced with a focus on growth, innovation, and leading-edge technologies. Career and internship opportunities are available at our global headquarters in Lincoln, Nebraska. Apply today at sandhills.jobs.
My Shiro always goes the extra mile, stretches every dollar,
puts others first. But now it's your time, Mom. Get free tips to help boost your retirement savings now at aceyourretirement.org/Shiro.
Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by Security First Bank, a relationship you can count on.
Warm and breezy for your Friday with an afternoon high right about 80. South-southeast winds gusting over 20 and a few passing clouds here and there. A low tonight down to around 55. We'll start off the weekend with a high of around 83 and those south-southeast winds again gusting over 20. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Victor deployed for the first time to Afghanistan in 2003. At 4 in the morning, my phone rang. They said, "I regret to inform you that your husband was wounded in action." Victor sustained a moderate traumatic brain injury. I was doing school full-time, and I was also then caring for Victor. One of the most important elements of caregiving is taking care of yourself. I just didn't want to forget that I also had goals and that I also had a life. What I did is I challenged Victor to meet me halfway. There are almost 6 million military and veteran caregivers across the nation. We have our own journey, and we can fulfill that journey at the same time that we are helping our loved one.
Visit aarp.org/caregiving for a free military veterans guide to navigate your caregiving journey and better care for your loved one and yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Now back to The Drive with Aaron Davis and Chris Raff on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, we're back. I had to get the mute off. I had it muted.
There
So
it
we're
is.
back on The Drive. I didn't want to fail 2 days in a row, but
You can't.
caught
You did,
myself.
though. You kind of did. You started
No.
talking momentarily.
I was paused like this.
However, you were lucky because I had not yet turned on your microphone, so we were okay.
Phew, thank goodness. Thank goodness.
But okay, so Nebraska, we'll get to predictions before we close out the show. We'll hear Raff's prediction before we close out the show. We didn't get AD's prediction, but I'm guessing he's thinking a Huskers win.
Yeah, he said before he signed off yesterday, he said Nebraska win. So he never got a
All right.
score, but
That's fine. So we have a Nebraska win from AD, and I'm guessing that we'll have probably the same from Raff, but we'll find out later in the show. Okay, so Raff, some players that you want to see that we have not seen enough of. Who are they? You mentioned that you wanted to kind of dive down this rabbit hole right now.
Yep.
So you might have a couple in mind. Who are some of those?
Number 1, Noah Pola Gates.
Ooh. Okay.
I mean, yes, I might have got caught watching the high school all-star game. I think that was the one down in San Antonio, the one he played in.
Yeah, and it was the one that he laid out Wandale.
Yeah.
They were signed to Nebraska or committed to Nebraska or whatever, and he laid out Wandale.
Yeah. And it's like we or the staff at the time or whoever was here that was recruiting him, he was like one of their top recruits. It's like
you stole him from Alabama.
Yeah.
It was down to Nebraska and Bama, and Nebraska beat out Alabama for him.
Yeah, exactly. It's like it's time. You got to find a way. I mean, his talent has not disappeared. Maybe it hasn't picked up the defense, stuff like that, but that talent is still there. And that's where you got to find a way to get him out on the field. Even if it's just something, put him in on packages and let him blitz, safety blitz, something just to get his talent. I just want to see him play, I'd just like to. I mean, we're at a point now. It's like, can it get any worse? Let's see some of this young talent that we've had here for a couple years and get them out on the field and see what happens.
So Noah Pola Gates right now is listed as the third safety. Phelan Sanford is on the depth chart ahead of him.
Yeah.
So at the one safety position, it's Marquise Buford, Phelan Sanford, and Noah Pola Gates. At the other safety position, it's Miles Farmer, Deshaun Singleton, and Jaden Gould. Deshaun Singleton's a guy I'm surprised we have not seen a little bit more from.
Yeah.
If you want to stay in that secondary. Here's one that we're going to be able to see on Saturday, Raff. A guy that I'm very high on. You might recognize, you might understand after I say it. Gabe Ervin.
Yes.
Now, unfortunately, I'm not a fan of the way that he is going to find playing time, right? And that's at the expense of A.J. Allen. But here we get an opportunity, and I told Sip and Jake this on the spillover this morning. You look at this running back room, and it's wild to look back at the conversations we were having at the beginning of the year and see how they just don't match up right now. And like I was dead wrong, right? A lot of us were dead
totally
wrong because we were sat here and said, listen, if Nebraska just has an established running game, that's what they need to put them over the top. That's what they need to win the close games, be able to milk the clock, things like that. We didn't expect this defense to take such a drastic step backwards, but now they have that. The running game that we said that they needed, and that was one of the main things that they were missing the entire time under Scott Frost. They finally have it, and now they're still 1-3, unfortunately. Yeah. But you have Anthony Grant, who, like I said earlier, is a guy that is over 100 yards.
Yep.
And or averaging around 100 yards a game. And then you have now Gabe Ervin, who lost the job to A.J. Allen, who was a true freshman. But people might forget Gabe Ervin's a guy that won their starting running back job as a true freshman last year.
And he was just starting to come into his own when he got injured. That's
exactly.
I mean, he's a good back. So I think he's going to be very productive. And then
I agree.
And then, another one that's kind of like the wild card for me is Yant. It's like,
ooh, I have no idea what the deal is with Jaquez Yant.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. So right now on the depth chart, it's Anthony Grant is number 1, rightfully so. And then at number 2, it's Gabe Ervin and Ramir Johnson. What, Rico?
Ramir climbing up the depth chart.
I know, Ramir. But Ramir Johnson at number 2, then Jaquez Yant. You don't see Jaquez Yant. And that's the thing is like, I don't know where he gets in. Like, I don't know at what point of the game do you put Jaquez Yant into the game.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, gosh, we haven't even seen Ramir Johnson.
Well,
Ramir's not even – we haven't even seen Ramir.
Yeah.
And that was one of the most mind-boggling things. Sorry to interrupt twice there, Raff.
Oh, no, you're good.
That was one of the most mind-boggling things for me personally in the first couple weeks of the season, while Scott Frost was still the head coach here, was that heading into the year throughout spring and fall camp, one of the constants, right? You always have those spring stories, right? And one of those is always Brody Belt, how he's just taking a big step forward and things like that. That's the spring stories, right?
Yep.
But then once the constant story, the spring stories transition into fall headlines, that's when you can actually put some stock into what people are saying.
Yeah.
Throughout both of those camps, Ramir Johnson was the constant of this dude just plays football. He's hard-nosed. He plays tough. He's going to find a way onto the football field, whether it's at running back or wide receiver. He's going to not just because he's a heck of an athlete and a football player, but because Nebraska needs him. Nebraska needs a guy like Ramir Johnson to be on the field to be successful. They're better with Ramir Johnson on the football field than they are without him.
Yeah.
And then in the first 2 or 3 weeks, we saw him in very limited action, did not play against Northwestern. And the reasoning behind why Ramir Johnson wasn't playing is that he kind of got lost in the shuffle between running back and wide receiver. He wasn't good enough to start at running back, which I understand because you have Anthony Grant.
Yeah.
But he didn't know enough of the plays at wide receiver that we could get him in and feel comfortable about it.
Yeah.
It was the same situation, and that's why it frustrated the heck out of me, Raff, was because it's the same situation as Xavier Betts in his freshman year.
Yeah.
Xavier Betts, we saw flashes, and it was like, great, this is awesome because he's a playmaker. He's a dude out here, and it made it even a little better because he was an in-state guy. But then why don't we see him more? Why don't we see him more? Well, he just doesn't know the playbook quite yet.
Yeah.
Same with Jaquez Yant as a freshman year. Just doesn't quite know enough of the playbook yet. at some point when you're losing games over and over and over, and this was one of my big criticisms of Scott Frost as a game manager and personnel coach. At some point when you lose games over and over and over again, you got to do something different. And at some point, you just have to put in your best players and allow them to make plays.
Yep, exactly.
And if they screw up going 110%, then they screw up going 110%. But that's way better than somebody giving half effort that is not even close to as good of an athlete.
Yep.
And that's where it's just kind of mind-boggling, some of the personnel decisions in recent years.
Well, that's like I've continued to say this through and through is like, if I hear they don't know the playbook, that is the worst excuse. To me, that is the worst excuse. Yeah, I agree. It's like you find ways around that. Guys have different ways of learning plays. They have, some people, you've got to find out what their abilities are, because they didn't end up at Nebraska by mistake. They were able to know their plays in high school.
Well, so what's wild about it? Go ahead, Raff.
Oh no, it's just they were able to know their plays in high school, and they were able to be successful, to be recruited by Nebraska and other programs. But then they come to Nebraska, and it's like, well, they don't know the playbook. Okay, well, then that's you as a coach. You've got to find a way to get them to either understand the playbook. I mean, if worst comes to worst, if you want some of that talent out on the field, they speak about how, Casey Thompson, he knows everybody's position, and he's a great film guy and great everything. Casey Thompson calls a play, and if you got to, you tell the player, hey, you're running a jet sweep, or,
Yeah. Well, so what's so crazy about like the whole playbook situation was it's the coach's job, but it's also the player's job. I don't want to get that twisted. Like the player needs to dedicate time to learning his role. Like they got to do that. But however, as a head coach, less of your job is about the X's and O's, and more of it is dealing with personalities, being that the game manager, and learning how guys or understanding how guys learn, and also the position coaches are the same way. Yep. And here's the thing. Mickey Joseph has said it, and also I hate to bring the name up, Dave Aranda also said it in an interview, is one of the biggest challenges as a head coach is learning all the different types of ways that your student athletes learn and absorb information.
Yep.
Because that's the main thing. As you just said, Raff, the X guy is not going to learn the same way or be comfortable learning the same way as Y guy. And same with Z guy. Like you have to adjust and be able to adapt on the fly with multiple athletes, because they're not going to learn the same way. Brody Belt just said the other day that Bill Bush is a hard ass, but that's how he learns. That's the best way he learns. And so, but here's the thing. Brody Belt's not going to learn the same way as Jacques Yant. Maybe Jacques Yant doesn't like the whole hard ass aspect. Or and I don't know if he does or not, but I'm not saying that he does, but you could insert any name there. Casey Thompson, Brant Banks, Bryce Benhart. Maybe they don't like that style. So you got to adjust it, because at the end of the day, it is the whether or not the coach keeps their job is determined on the results that are made by the players. And it's a player-driven game. It's a college student-driven game. And if you aren't catering to their strengths, teaching them the way that they learn best, then you're not going to be here very long. And we saw that.
And you adjust to things. I mean, if they do not know the playbook, I mean, don't let them not knowing the playbook keep them off the field. That's where you've got to find a way. Because I hate that excuse.
It was such a lousy excuse of, he just doesn't know the playbook quite yet. Well, figure out a way to get him on the field.
Yeah.
Run the plays that he does know. Just because, like if Xavier Betts would have known 40% of the playbook, then he needs to be on the field for all 40% of those plays that he does know. Yeah. And there's no way that the only time through the first 2 years of Xavier Betts that we saw him on the field was to run a jet sweep.
Yeah.
And not to mention, he's scored multiple times on 85-yard jet sweep carries. Like he figured out a way he always found success when he was on the field. Nebraska's offense looked more efficient when a guy like Xavier Betts was on the field.
Yeah.
And now you're telling me he didn't know the playbook, so he can't play?
Yeah, you got to find ways around that. I mean, it's like they were recruited by Nebraska, so
yeah,
you can't tell me that when they recruited them that red flags didn't go up going, oh, well, they don't know a playbook. Well, if they don't know the playbook, they're never going to get in the game. You probably shouldn't have recruited them in the first place because you're wasting their talent.
I sit here and I just think to myself of if Nebraska was winning games, we would not be having these conversations, right? If Nebraska would have been winning games and Scott Frost is still the head coach here, we wouldn't be questioning him, and rightfully so, because it was working. Whatever he was doing, whatever he is doing, if he's still the head coach, is working because Nebraska's winning games. However, it was year after year after year of not winning games, and yet you still decided to try and you do the same exact or utilize the same philosophy. And that's the part that frustrated me the most, is that the parallels between 2018 and 2022 were mind-boggling to where Xavier Betts didn't know, or excuse me, not Xavier Betts. One guy didn't know the playbook in 2019, I guess it would be.
Yeah.
And that's what's keeping him off the field. And now you take one of your best players in 2022 in a make it or break it year. You take one of your best players who ended up being your starting running back last year and carried the rock decently well.
Yeah.
And you took one of your best players, tried to transition him to wide receiver, and now against Georgia Southern and North Dakota, you're telling me that he can't get in because he's lost in the shuffle?
Yeah, that's weird.
It's just there's something different about, and granted, Mickey Joseph's fixing everything. Mickey Joseph is getting his boots on the ground and he's running. But man, I remember sitting in that press conference room on the 6th floor of Memorial Stadium going, it's North Dakota. You're telling me Ramir Johnson can't get in even if he doesn't know the playbook against North Dakota?
Yeah.
Like, at some point, maybe guys learn better in game situations. We know Xavier Betts was that way. We know for a fact that Xavier Betts was that way, where he was just a gamer. And maybe Jacques Yant's the same way as well. But, like, man, it just felt like a lousy excuse time and time again.
Well, what frustrated me, too, with Ramir, too, was I thought when they moved him over to receiver, it was to give the offense more of, more plays.
Well, it's diversity.
Yeah.
Variety would be the better word.
Yeah. So I thought they were doing it, to give them more in their arsenal. And then they come back and they're like, well, he got lost in the shuffle. And I'm like, oh, I thought this wasn't what it was meant to be. So I was confused. I was awfully confused. But even going back to everything over the last 2 or 3 years, I think I texted AD every week for the last 2 months. I'd always just type in insanity. We're just trying to do the same exact thing, hoping for a different result. And that's what it felt like.
It's wild to think back over these last, 3 or 4 years. And I don't want to reminisce on the previous staff too much, or previous head coach specifically. But you look at some of the changes that this staff has decided to make with players, right? And you move Cam Jurgens from tight end to center. That worked out really well. It worked out, right? He ended up being a 2nd-round draft pick. He's probably going to be a starter in the NFL for multiple years to come after Jason Kelce retires this season.
Oh, yeah.
And he's in a great situation in Philadelphia because he gets to learn from a guy like Jason Kelce. But then you think about the drama and the saga each year with Adrian Martinez, putting weight on him, shedding weight, putting weight on him, shedding weight. And it was just it was a teeter-totter back and forth cycle that potentially possibly regressed Adrian Martinez's play. And then now you're sitting here and you did the same thing with Ramir Johnson. And these were now, granted, like I said, it worked with Cam Jurgens, and so pat on the back for that one because it ended up working. But man, these are 2 of your more polarizing players, or top players, or most important players on the offense, and you switch positions or you switch body types, and this could be the second time out of two that it doesn't work.
Yeah,
and that's huge, and it could decisions like that although they're high risk, high reward, right? Because now you find yourself in a position against North Dakota and Georgia Southern where Ramir Johnson wasn't able to get in the game.
Yep.
And when all spring and fall long, you're telling us how great he's been, how Bill Bush is saying how great he is on special teams. We've seen him on special teams. That comes to fruition. But it's hard for me to believe here. Don't sit here and tell me that you feel bad for him, that he can't get into the game like they did, like Scott Frost did, when you're not playing him against North Dakota or Georgia Southern. You got to find a way. The moral of the story, find a way to get your best athletes on the field, especially when you're losing games.
Yep.
Especially when you're losing games.
Exactly.
So I just think it's kind of crazy to think about how it just the storylines from the last 3 years or 4 years, I suppose. And
a lot of insanity. All right, we'll throw it to break right now. This is The Drive on 93.7 The Ticket.
Sandhills Global is hiring. Check out sandhills.jobs for more information. Sandhills is looking to fill hundreds of new openings in sales, traveling support, software development, web design, and more. Sandhills has a professional culture and is fast-paced with a focus on growth, innovation, and leading-edge technologies. Career and internship opportunities are available at our global headquarters in Lincoln, Nebraska. Apply today at sandhills.jobs. If you need to sell equipment and trucks, Ritchie Brothers' new Lincoln Satellite Yard lets you free up space at your property and get local access to all Ritchie Brothers auctions. Drop your equipment off and sell it online at any Ritchie Brothers auction, Iron Planet, or via Marketplace E. The yard is at 8801 US 6 Lincoln. It's secure and makes for easy in-person buyer inspections and pickup. Take advantage of this yard to sell at Ritchie Brothers' Great Plains Regional Auction, September 15th and 16th. For details, visit rbauction.com/Lincoln. Problem gambling can destroy an individual's finances, relationships, physical, and mental health. If you are a loved one or struggling with addiction, contact Choices Treatment Center's 24-hour helpline at 402-476-2300. That's 402-476-2300.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Get an immediate look back at the game from the people who know it best. It's the Tanner's post-game show and the final word live from Tanner's Bar and Grill at 30th and Yankee Hill. Hear from former players and national champions like Jay Foreman, Rashawn Jackson, and Aaron Davis and see what they saw in that day's game. It's the Tanner's post-game show and the final word. Live and in person, home or away at Tanner's Bar and Grill, brought to you by Bauer Infrastructure. Only here on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Join us on Friday from 2 to 6 on the rooftop at Barry's as we get you ready for Saturday's game on the block with Eric Strickland and Nate Brennan, followed by Old School with Jay Foreman and DP this Friday from 2 to 6 at Barry's on 9th and Q.
They might win, they might lose, but either way, you have something to say about it. Don't miss the Husker After Party postgame show immediately following every Nebraska football game. Nick Sainert and Jake Bachhoven give instant reaction, quotes from the players and coaches, and take all your phone calls with thoughts on the game. It's the Husker After Party postgame show, only on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Sponsored by Action Plumbing and Heating, Gary Michaels Quilliers, and Brent Excavating.
Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket.
Okay, playing 93.7 The Ticket.
Alexa, turn down the lights.
Dimming the lights.
Alexa, order a pizza, the big one, all the toppings.
Are you sure that's a good idea?
Alexa,
That's a lot of pizza for just one man.
Alexa, just do it. Stop judging me, just do it.
As you wish.
Thanks, Alexa. You're my best friend.
Hello, everybody. I'm Charlie Stone, and joining me in just a moment is Andy Goodyear, General Manager of Honda of Lincoln. But before I bring Andy on, I need to tell you about something that really got my attention. Just the other day, I saw on television Andy announcing that in the last 50 years, they had sold and serviced close to 100,000 vehicles.
Thanks, Charlie. Yeah, actually, the number would be a lot higher if we add in how many repeat customers we have for service and that come back to buy cars from us over and over and over again.
Now, Andy, tell everybody about your special offer.
Well, as most people know, always trade for vehicles, but now we're offering for people to come in and sell us their cars. We're ready to bring it on in, whether it's a year old or a few years old, and we'll pay them cash that same day. It'll be hassle-free, and we'll do it the Honda of Lincoln way.
Come experience the Honda of Lincoln way of buying cars, 27th and Yankee Hill Road, or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
The weather in Nebraska is unpredictable every day, and that's no fun when you're trying to golf. Double Eagle Golf in West Lincoln is now open to let you play in perfect indoor conditions daily. Double Eagle Golf has 5 simulator bays to hit in, by far the most in Lincoln. It has a fully stocked bar with beers and cocktails for you to enjoy while you play. Double Eagle Golf is open each weekday from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m., so you can start the day there, take a client over lunch, or end the night with friends. Check out Double Eagle Golf today inside the Kinetic Sports Complex on West O Street.
They might win, they might lose, but either way, you have something to say about it. Don't miss the Husker After Party postgame show immediately following every Nebraska football game. Nick Sainert and Jake Bachhoven give instant reaction, quotes from the players and coaches, and take all your phone calls with thoughts on the game. It's the Husker After Party postgame show, only on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Sponsored by Action Plumbing and Heating, Gary Michaels Quilliers, and Brent Excavate.
This is The Drive with AD and Raff on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hello. Good morning. Let's go. Hello. Good morning.
All right, everybody, we're back. This is The Drive, 93.7 The Ticket. We're proudly sponsored by Sandhills Global. Sandhills Global is looking to fill hundreds of new openings in sales, traveling support, software development, web design, and more. Career and internship opportunities are available at the global headquarters in Lincoln. So apply today at sandhills.jobs. Thank you, Sandhills, for your support. And over the break, I was looking at the text messages. AD has found a way to contact us.
That's unreal.
35,000 feet in the air, somewhere over America. He goes, the offense must sustain drives to give the defense time to recover. Indiana calls plays on offense quicker than Raff bringing up the Broncos.
Here's what's funny. That AD, so AD is, instead of texting from his AD, if you're listening, you're texting from you're texting from the text line to the text line. Text from your personal phone to the text line, because now they're showing up duplicated because you're sending them from the text line, but you're also sending them from your laptop. So we are seeing the messages you send in, and then we're also receiving those messages as well. So
he's doing everything he can. I was laughing. I was just like, he found a way.
We got duplicates of all messages. Now, I will also say this. It's funny. So the website that we use for text messages, it charges us 4 cents every text message that we send out. So every time AD texts in, it's taking 4 cents from us. So AD, stop texting in from the text line.
AD's next check will be negative.
It'll be, hey, you actually owe us $73 for all the texts that you sent in. They added up over the course of time. But no, I mean, AD, how about that? Shout out from 35,000 feet.
And then I saw that Tater said that no more predictions, but hey, we're that type of show. We like making those predictions and being wrong.
Like. I would say. Well, here's the thing, Raff. I'm gonna hang my hat on my I'm gonna hang my hat on the Tyreek Hill prediction I had last night.
Yeah, you said 150.
I said between 150 and 200, and he finished 10 catches for 160 yards.
I would have had 200 if Tua didn't get hurt.
You're right. Honestly, you probably would have. And speaking of, now we don't want to talk about NFL too long.
No lie, those Oklahomans, they get upset with us.
But it's funny because that catch that he had on the post route that he ended up getting inside the 5-yard line with, or 10-yard line with, where he bobbled it the first time, and he had the concentration to still hold on to it. That was impressive. What a great play by Tyreek. A big addition to the Dolphins. But here's going back to Husker football here. Downtown Scott says, is it hard to accept that Ramir Johnson isn't the best player or is not the best athlete? And I wouldn't say it's hard to accept it. I would say that there were just that speaks, if he's not one of the best athletes on your offense, then that speaks to disconnects that we were hearing and what we're seeing. So that's and if that's the case, Downtown Scott, I guess a follow-up is, does that surprise me that there might be a disconnect? No. However, just a little disappointing. So, well, miss scouting of talent.
And well, but in the press conferences leading up to the year, we heard about, such a great football player that Ramir was. We got to find ways to get him on the field. He's going to help this football team. That's where I was confused. It's like, if I'm listening to it and thinking, he's going to help this football team a lot this year, we're going to put him at receiver. We're going to put him at running back. We're going to, make him kind of a jackknife, different, of different traits. And then that comes out, and then we don't even see him on the field. Well, I'm confused. I can only imagine what he was feeling, because it's like, you tell me I'm going to be, but yeah.
Well, could I say this? I mean, this is just a thought that I had, so I'm kind of walking through it as we kind of discuss here. But could it be one of those things where, like, if Nebraska had a breakout player that we didn't see breaking out or having a successful season, that he just takes Ramir Johnson or anybody's spot, then it would be understandable. But like, let's assess this offense here specifically. Has anybody had a season or a start to the season that we didn't necessarily expect? We expected Anthony Grant to be the number one running back. We expected Trey Palmer to be the leading receiver. Maybe if anything, we expected more out of Travis Vokalek. Unfortunately, he got banged up. But maybe you could categorize that as we expected Nebraska to maybe utilize their tight ends a little bit more. Maybe see a little more Chancellor Brewington in the pass game. Yeah. Like, if Isaiah Garcia Castaneda was the leading receiver here and Trey Palmer was narrowly behind him, it would be one of those things like, all right, listen, we just have too much talent where they're, listen, hey, Ramir Johnson, you just kind of got iced out, unfortunately, and that's just the way the cookie crumbles. But we're sitting here going, we kind of expected all this on offense. The three main players on offense, Casey Thompson, Anthony Grant, and Trey Palmer, are all producing.
Correct.
But it's not like, I mean, who's Nebraska's second best wide receiver right now? It's not Omar Manning, statistic-wise. It's not Omar Manning. Thomas Fidoni's not out there. Travis Vokalek just got healthy. Isaiah Garcia Castaneda disappeared after the Northwestern game.
Yeah.
So, like, we sit here and go, who is Nebraska's guys behind Trey Palmer, Anthony Grant, and Casey Thompson? And once again, it just speaks to the disconnect of what we heard in spring and fall camp, both those camps, and the disconnect of what we've seen on Saturdays again. So it's just, I wouldn't say it's hard to, I wouldn't say it's hard to accept that Ramir might not be the best athlete, because in 100% honesty, I don't think he is. But there's something to be said for value that somebody brings to a team.
Yeah, I thought, beginning of the year, I thought he'd be packaged. I thought they'd put him in different packages, and they would, like, I kind of thought to myself, with Xavier Betts not being around anymore, I thought Ramir was going to take that jet sweep reverse. I thought maybe that'd be his cup of tea, that they would use him in some sort or fashion, but that didn't. And so,
well, Ramir's one of those guys that you're able just to throw him a nice short ball and let him just go to work.
Yeah,
Like, he's
exactly.
one of those guys. And once again, especially when you look at this 4-game set that Nebraska had, and 2 of them involved Georgia Southern and North Dakota, and you still couldn't figure out a way to get him into the game for very much. That's what's confusing. Somebody on the text line says they just didn't want him to transfer. He was never going to play. I'm not sure about that. However, the first part of they just didn't want him to transfer, that is more concerning if that is true, because that's not how you want to operate your program, is basically lying so that guys don't, or so guys stick around. That's a bad way to operate a program. We have to take a break here, but somebody on the text line, the same person actually asked, how is the linebacker room so thin that Ernest Hausman is starting? Let's dive into kind of the defensive side of things ahead of Indiana coming up next, Raff.
Sounds good. We'll throw it to break. This is The Drive on 93.7 The Ticket.
They might win, they might lose, but either way, you have something to say about it. Don't miss the Husker After Party postgame show immediately following every Nebraska football game. Nick Sainert and Jake Bachhoven give instant reaction, quotes from the players and coaches, and take all your phone calls with thoughts on the game. It's the Husker After Party postgame show, only on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Sponsored by Action Plumbing and Heating, Gary Michaels Quilliers, and Brent Excavate.
Join us on Fridays from 2 to 6 on the rooftop at Barry's as we get you ready for Saturday's game on the block with Eric Strickland and Nate Brennan, followed by Old School with Jay Foreman and DP this Friday from 2 to 6 at Barry's on 9th and Q.
The weather in Nebraska is unpredictable every day, and that's no fun when you're trying to golf. Double Eagle Golf in West Lincoln is now open to let you play in perfect indoor conditions daily. Double Eagle Golf has 5 simulator bays to hit in, by far the most in Lincoln. It has a fully stocked bar with beers and cocktails for you to enjoy while you play. Double Eagle Golf is open each weekday from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m., so you can start the day there, take a client over lunch, or end the night with friends. Check out Double Eagle Golf today inside the Kinetic Sports Complex on West O Street.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red!
At Allo, we think you deserve the fiber things in life, like binging your favorite TV shows and movies buffer-free, next level, lag-free gaming, and video calls without frozen faces. So say goodbye to lag and buffering and hello to super fast fiber internet with dedicated 24/7 support for total peace of mind. Plus, no hidden fees, no expiration dates, and no contracts, ever. From dependable service to exceptional support, experience the fiber things with Allo. Go to allofiber.com/fiberthings and switch today.
What does continuing education mean to you? At Southeast Community College, it means helping you advance. Whether that's a fundamental course in accounting or marketing to help your business, or helping you become a better leader, SCC can help you take the next step. Financial assistance is available too. Learn more about our business development classes at southeast.edu/continuing education. SCC, your path to personal and professional development.
Your high school football coverage rolls on right here on 93.7 The Ticket. Hey guys, it's Nick Sainert. Join me this Friday at 8 p.m. for a deep city rivalry between Lincoln Southeast and Lincoln Southwest. The Knights come in winners of 3 in a row and fresh off a big 56-35 win last Friday, while the Silverhawks continue their run towards the playoffs after dominating Omaha Bryan last week 56-0 and boasting a 4-1 record in 2022. Kickoff is scheduled for 8 p.m. and you can listen to all the action right here on your home for high school football, 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Adoption of teens from foster care is a topic not enough people know about, and we're here to change that. I'm April Dinwiddie, host of the new podcast, Navigating Adoption, presented by Adopt US Kids. Each episode brings you compelling real-life adoption stories told by the families that live them with commentary from experts. Visit adoptuskids.org/podcast or subscribe to Navigating Adoption, presented by Adopt US Kids. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Administration for Children and Families and the Ad Council.
If you want to make new floor shopping easier, come to O Street Carpet. Hi, I'm Steve Carper. Our flooring professionals can help you choose the best flooring for you, your family, and your budget. We eliminate the confusion. Even better, you'll be enjoying your new flooring much sooner. No 6 or 8 week waits. We'll install right away and save you money on installation. Floor shopping made easy every day at O Street Carpet.
O Street Carpet.
1732 O Street. Family owned and operated. Always the best value.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Warm and breezy for your Friday with an afternoon high right about 80. South-southeast winds gusting over 20 and a few passing clouds here and there. A low tonight down to around 55. We'll start off the weekend with a high of around 83 and those south-southeast winds again gusting over 20. I'm meteorologist Tim Wright for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Now back to The Drive with Aaron Davis and Chris Raff on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, we're back again. It's The Drive, 93.7 The Ticket. It's Friday. Big game tomorrow. Nebraska versus Indiana. The Hoosiers.
Yeah, exactly. Raff, what you got planned for today, man?
What do I got planned for today? Oh, it's homecoming tonight. So
That's right. So football game.
So we got a homecoming football game. I forgot who they play tonight. So we'll go to that. And then they have 2 daughters that'll be going to their homecoming dance. So
perfect.
Time flies way too fast when they got a senior and a sophomore already. Holy cow.
Yeah. Well, I just got word that VJ is going to be late today, so we might be just going over the 10 o'clock hour by like 5 or 10 minutes or so.
I'm not afraid.
But yeah, no, we got plenty to talk about. Maybe we'll bring Bach even in a little bit as well, and we'll have some fun and just kind of have a little bit of a crossover as we near the 10 o'clock hour. So, okay, defense, because Nebraska, I'll say these statistics again. 127th in total defense out of 131 teams in the country. They are allowing
it worse.
It could. They are allowing close to 7 yards per play, and they are giving up on average 514 yards a game. Now, Indiana is not much better. They are allowing, or excuse me, they're 109th in total defense. If I remember correctly, they're giving up 6.4 yards per play, and they're somewhere in the high 400 yards per game. So this is a game, Raff, of bad defenses. So is it more important for the defense to shine this weekend, or should Nebraska fans and Nebraska coaches just kind of be in the boat of, listen, our defense is not going to be good, so we need to slow down the pace on offense to keep our defense off the field? How should Nebraska fans feel going into Saturday's game?
Leery, scared.
Well,
maybe a little. No, I think you go into it. The offense. If the offense can sustain drives, like I said earlier, and put some points up on the board, the defense. Like, we got to call it like it is. I mean, they're one of the worst defenses in the country. Okay, well, you've hit rock bottom, and I think that goes up with like Mickey Joseph saying, "Let's go out and hunt."
Mm-hmm.
Let's be aggressive. Let's try to make their offense make mistakes.
Yeah,
blitz, put pressure on them.
Do something.
I mean, what's the worst that happens? A blown coverage and they take it to the house. Well, what's been happening the first 4 weeks?
That's a good point.
So why not become the attackers, become the aggressors, make the offense, make them one-dimensional. If you got to take 9 people, put 9 people up in the box and just heat them up. It's like I was, watching the junior high game on Tuesday. Mm-hmm. And it's so funny, watching those kids play. The way they gang tackle, the way they're all attacking the ball. At the end of the day, And I'm sure Terrell, the black shirt, the man, the legend, at the end of the day, it's just football.
That's what Jake says all the time.
A guy has ball, you tackle guy with football. It's not rocket science. Yeah, I know there's a bunch of coaches out there and there's a bunch of teams that, get complicated and got all these crazy schemes and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, find person with football, tackle guy with football. That's what it is. And that's watching that game the junior high game on Tuesday. I was thinking to myself, I was like, they're not playing no intricate schemes or anything like that. Half the time they're going cover zero on the outsides, man-to-man defense, and they're just bringing everybody to the ball. And I'm thinking to myself, why can't Nebraska do that? Make it easy.
Well, and I think with Bill, we've heard with Bill Bush that they're going to simplify it, right? Yeah. And now what does simplified look like? I'm not really sure. However, I'm going to bring up, I'm searching their total offenses because I want to give those statistics for folks. Nebraska ranks 42nd in the country in total offense. They average 6.1 yards per play and 451 yards per game. So not bad numbers, not bad numbers at all, right? 42nd in the country. To put it into perspective, they are one spot behind Illinois. They are 4 spots above Purdue and 7 spots above Northwestern. Indiana is down at 74th in the country. They average on offense 4.84 yards per play and 407.5 yards per game. So that's where Indiana's at. They're at 74th. Now, granted, you have to keep in mind, through 4 games, it's a pretty small sample size, right? Because you have to look at the kind of competition that you're playing as well.
Exactly.
Nebraska was involved in one shootout against Georgia Southern that they obviously did not win. But I said the statistic on the spillover. My buddy Luke Mullen from the Lincoln Journal-Star tweeted out this fact yesterday, and I don't know if here I got to go to my page so I don't misquote it.
A lot of throws.
Two of the quarterbacks that Nebraska has faced this year, Ryan Helinski and Kyle Van Treese, are in the top 5 nationally for most passes attempted. Van Treese is second, and Helinski is 4th. Who's number 1? Indiana quarterback Connor Bazelak.
Oh, so you know what they're going to do. That's half the battle right there. So my first thought is heat them up. Get some.
Exactly. Make him make a play with his feet. Make him get out of the pocket. Right. Yep. It feels like we say this quite often, but how about this weekend? We see the front 4 that we were expecting. What if we see that kind of pressure from the front 4? Depth chart has changed a little bit on defense. I believe Omar Brown is going to be a little more involved in the whole entire situation, which, if you remember, he was the FCS Freshman of the Year at Northern Iowa. Yeah. He's a guy that when he came in, didn't know when he was going to be able to make an impact, but here he is, week 5, ready to make an impact, I suppose. Isaac Gifford is the number 1 guy at the nickel. Nick Henrich, Luke Reimer, and Caleb Tanner are the 3 linebackers. O'Shawn, Colton Feast, and Ty Robinson, along with Garrett Nelson, are the guys on the front 4. Devin Drew still the backup. Stephon Wynn still the backup at their respective positions. So secondary stays the same. Newsome, Tommy Hill, Marquise Buford, and Miles Farmer. However, a true freshman, Malcolm Hartzog, a true freshman, 5'9", 170-pound defensive back, plays cornerback from Silver Creek, Mississippi, has made his way onto the depth chart, and now he is a number 2 with Braxton Clark.
Is Javen Wright on there anywhere?
He is listed 3rd in at the nickel. So what's interesting here is Omar Brown jumped Javen Wright.
Jumped him, okay.
Yeah, so at the nickel position, it's Isaac Gifford, which Gifford hasn't had a horrible year. He's been kind of poor in coverage, but in tackling, Gifford's been decent. But then it's Isaac Gifford, Omar Brown, Javen Wright at the nickel position.
And what are the linebackers?
So linebackers, Caleb Tanner's by himself at that one position.
Or the middle linebackers, I guess.
Yeah, inside linebackers, Luke Reimer and Ateva Maga Clements. And then at the other position, it's Nick Henrich and Chris Klarvik.
So, okay. All right.
So I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Wait, Ernest Hausman not on there, or did I?
No, Ernest Hausman is not on there.
So where'd he go?
No idea. Now, here's the thing that we have to remember is throughout these first 4 games, true freshmen or guys that were eligible for a red shirt may have played, right? So they might have taken these first 4 games as a way for Ernest Hausman to get kind of his bearings, get some game film, right? We always talk about, like Mickey Joseph talked about after the Oklahoma game, how he wishes that he could have gotten the younger guys in earlier. He regrets not getting the younger guys in earlier, not necessarily for them to get game reps, but for the coaches and the players and the staff to get game footage. They want to be able to have film on these guys. And so that's why there's value in getting the young guys in earlier. But they didn't get them in. I mean, they got a little bit of game footage, but like how much film do they have of Chubba Purdy, unfortunately, right now? Like, and things like that. So maybe there's a situation here where we don't see Ernest Hausman the rest of the year. But it's interesting if that's the case because he was starting.
I'll tell you what, that says a whole bunch for Mickey that, he's, if that's what happened and he's not playing the rest of the year because they want to save his year of eligibility. Yeah. And you got Mickey who, is trying to attain the head coaching job and he's putting those players' interests ahead of his. To me, that says a ton, Well,
it speaks volume. Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
It's like, wow.
Yeah. And here's the thing, Raff. I just thought about this a couple moments ago. Whoever is the next head coach, whether it's Mickey Joseph or whether it's whoever, the program is not going to be in near as bad of shape as it could have been.
No.
Because of Mickey Joseph.
Well, yeah, it'll depend. I think a lot of it is going to depend on where Mickey ends up. If he's the head man, awesome. I hope, I hope these next 8 games prove that he can be the head man.
I hope so too. Yeah. Cause that means Nebraska's probably going to a bowl game.
Yeah. So I'm great with that. But if for some reason he's not the head man, that they can keep him retained, because I think Mickey's a key to a lot of players, whether they go into the transfer portal. So
100%. Oh, well, look at what has just changed after your head coach gets fired. How many guys tweeted out, "Thanks, coach. Thanks for everything." I mean, that speaks volume. That speaks a lot of volume into kind of what your head coach meant for your players, or now your interim head coach means for your players.
Yeah. So we will find out. All right, we'll throw it to break right now. This is The Drive, 93.7 The Ticket.
Sandhills Global is hiring. Check out sandhills.jobs for more information. Sandhills is looking to fill hundreds of new openings in sales, traveling support, software development, web design, and more. Sandhills has a professional culture and is fast-paced with a focus on growth, innovation, and leading-edge technologies. Career and internship opportunities are available at our global headquarters in Lincoln, Nebraska. Apply today at sandhills.jobs. If you need to sell equipment and trucks, Ritchie Brothers' new Lincoln Satellite Yard lets you free up space at your property and get local access to all Ritchie Brothers auctions. Drop your equipment off and sell it online at any Ritchie Brothers auction, Iron Planet, or via Marketplace E. The yard is at 8801 US 6 Lincoln. It's secure. RVauction.com/Lincoln.
Nearly 1 in 2 U.S. adults have high blood pressure. That's why it's important to self-monitor your blood pressure in 4 easy-to-remember steps. It starts with a monitor. Be next to talk to your doctor about your blood pressure numbers. Get down with your blood pressure. Self-monitoring is power. Visit managerbp.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council, the American Heart Association, and the American Medical Association, in partnership with the Office of Minority Health and Health Resources and Services Administration.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Mike Shaver here for Trek CBD. Summer is here, and that means you're having garage parties with neighbors, hitting the golf course and the pool. The drink of this summer isn't your typical seltzer. It's drinkable Delta 8. Yep, Trek CBD has drinkable Delta 8 seltzers with mango and lime flavors for 4-packs, 12-packs, coming in a variety of mango, watermelon, lime, and berry. They also have hemp-derived Delta 9 syrups to put in your beverages, and as always, the excellent Delta 8 gummies. Trek CBD at 84th and Andermatt and TrekCBD.com. Trek CBD, CBD done right.
Start your Sundays off right with Jeff and Nicole Essink on Fitness Fanatics. Jeff and Nicole discuss health and wellness, how to achieve fitness goals, and more through the life of gym owners and gym goers. It's Fitness Fanatics from 9 to 11 a.m. on Sundays on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Wow. Did you ever save me money on my car?
Yes, that's why our customers keep coming back.
How do you do it, friendly car dealer ?
We simply have low overhead and high trade-in values. The next line's yours.
Oh.
Ready for something better? Mullen Motors is a no-hassle, no-pressure dealership with financing available. Check out the inventory at MikeMullenMotors.com.
No taglines, just quality vehicles. Mullen Motors.
From selling a home to even building one, you're doing a lot and need a lender who can help you do it. Like Lisa Workman of Security First Bank.
Mortgage lending is my true passion. As the director of mortgage lending, I work to ensure you receive exceptional customer service.
Mortgage lending from Security First Bank. We're the bank. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender. NMLS 505011 and 616196.
Your high school football coverage rolls on right here on 93.7 The Ticket. Hey guys, it's Nick Sainer. Join me this Friday at 8 p.m. for a deep city rivalry between Lincoln Southeast and Lincoln Southwest. The Knights come in winners of 3 in a row and fresh off a big 56-35 win last Friday, while the Silverhawks continue their run towards the playoffs after dominating Omaha Bryan last week 56-0 and boasting a 4-1 record in 2022. Kickoff is scheduled for 8 p.m. and you can listen to all the action right here on your home for high school football, 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
It's tailgate season. Why would you bounce around from place to place for all your beverage needs when you could have it all in one place? Wine, Beer, and Spirits has everything for your parties with their 3 locations in Lincoln, Grand Island, and Omaha. It's the largest liquor store in the state, and here's the best part. You can get a drink from their bar and walk around with it as you shop for all your tailgate necessities. Locally owned and operated, it's Wine, Beer, and Spirits on North 27th Street in Lincoln.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric brings exciting career opportunities for you or someone you know. They are now hiring plumbers, electricians, and HVAC techs and installers to continually build their professional team. They offer competitive pay and full benefits packages that include health, dental, vision, PTO, and 401k options. Action has created a positive team environment for over 50 years. Apply online at actionlincoln.com.
This message is for Shauna, my mom who just finished her high school diploma. I wanted to say I'm so proud of you for finishing school. You taught me it's never too late to achieve your dreams. I hope to make you as proud as you have made me.
When you graduate, they graduate. Finish your high school diploma for you and for them. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free and supportive adult education centers near you. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
How's Wingstop sound? Crispy, juicy, classic wings. Made to order, cooked to perfection. And sauced and tossed in those 11 soul-satisfying flavors. Paired with hand-cut seasoned fries, house-made honey mustard, blue cheese, or signature Wingstop ranch. And of course, spicy Cajun fried corn. I think you've heard enough. Get your flavor delivered at wingstop.com.
When you're high, you feel different. You think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
This is The Drive with AD and Raff on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hello. Good morning. Let's go. Let's go. Hello. Good morning. Hello. Good morning. Know you've been waiting. Temporary.
All right, everyone, we're back again. It's The Drive with AD and Raff. We got Nick, we got Bach, we got the full Friday buffet going right now, baby.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. Speaking of buffet, dude, Val's buffet was used to be $3.99.
Oh, yeah, back.
Yeah, I like how shocked you are by that.
I was shocked when John Cook said that on Tuesday. That Val's buffet used to be $3.99 for all you can eat. I had no clue because
back in the day.
Back in the day, because the last thing I remember, now rest in peace to the 70th and Van Dorn Val's buffet, but the last thing I remember was that it was like $12.50 per person. I mean, what is going on?
Inflation.
Nebraska Lincoln, more specifically, needs a reasonably priced, delicious buffet. Reasonably priced being the main concern there. Because, like Val's buffet was good. Just was it $12.50 worth good? I don't know.
It's crazy you talk buffets because back when long time ago on a long way away, there used to be a Godfather's downtown. And it was it was by Kinko's, I believe. It was right by Kinko's downtown by the campus. And on Friday, they had buffet. And that was like a go-to every Friday, like probably between my freshman and sophomore years of college. It was like Godfather's buffet Friday, and that was good.
That's wild. I just could not get over how John Cook was like, man, $3.99 buffet, but because he made some joke how the media we get Valentinos for free at press conferences every Tuesday. And he made some joke. He's like, I remember when I had to pay $3.99 for a Val's all-you-can-eat buffet, but you guys get Val's for free every week. And I was like, wait a minute. I understand the joke, but Val's used to be $3.99. Are you kidding me? So I just had to Godfather's and Pizza Hut salad bars might be undefeated.
Pretty solid, yeah.
There's just something about sitting down in a Pizza Hut or a Godfather's and eating the salad bar inside a pizza joint. I don't know what it is. I don't make the rules, but people are going to call me crazy. But it is what it is. So Scott says this, Nick, the overhead cost for having a buffet is nuts. It's out of control. Probably.
I bet so, yeah.
And here's the thing, but some people think buffets are gross because you got like kids sneezing and everything and coughs and all that.
Everybody
touching everything. Yeah. I never thought about that when I was like a 12-year-old kid. Does it bother me when I'm 21? Probably not, but like, I don't know. There's germs everywhere, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So it is what it is.
Worry about it too
so, all right. Raff, we got a couple minutes left here.
All right.
Let's walk us through how you expect the game to go.
Oh, Lord. I'm going to say that Nebraska will come out, play solid offensively. They will. Gosh, it's hard. It's really hard because every time I think something, it does the opposite. Ooh, Indiana's going to come out and score the first 21 points and have us down.
Easy,
Raff. Oh, no. Whoa,
easy,
hey.
easy. I understand what you're trying to do.
Reverse psychology. Reverse psychology.
I understand what we're trying to do. But now this week is the week that it's actually going to happen, and we're going to be staring down a 35-0 deficit to the Indiana Hoosiers.
And then we come back and win 38-30. No, I can't. Maybe I should predict Indiana to win because I'm over.
Hey,
Well, I guess I'm 1 for 2, 1 for 3. Maybe reverse psychology is what we need here.
all right,
like
so Raff is picking the Hoosiers.
yeah, our
All right.
defense is going to play horrible. Our offense is going to play horrible. And then come Monday, they're going to play great. They were mad at me because I picked the Hoosiers. I mean, reverse psychology. I'm to a point now. I just want some wins, and I just want the defense. I don't want the defense. The defense don't have to shut no one down. I just want a couple big plays, get the ball, in the offense's hands. It's like we were saying before we went to break. It's not rocket science. Find ball, tackle football. That's what I want.
I just texted our group chat of me, you, and AD, and I said, "Wow, Raff just because I don't know if AD heard."
Oh, he did. He just texted.
Raff just picked Indiana to win. So he just texted. He just landed. So AD is back in Nebraska, which is good. But now we're all on the same page, and Raff is picking Indiana to win. All right. Well, we'll go ahead and play the out music here.
Yep. Reverse psychology.
That's what he's thinking. I'll go ahead and stick around with Bach. We'll do the start of the captain show. I'll make my return to the captain show here.
Oh, VJ's gonna love that.
VJ's gonna love that. VJ and T Farley running a little bit late, so it's Bach and I coming up next. But Raff, Indiana fan, have a safe drive back from Alabama. When do you come back? Hurry up.
I'll be back on probably Monday, probably. Okay. So I'll probably do via satellite on Monday, and then I'll be back in studio on Tuesday. So
all right, well, you heard it from the man. All right, Raff.
Have fun at Tipsy Tina's. All right, 92.7 The Ticket. We're out. We'll talk to you on Monday.